episode 22 of the Ancient Coin Hour, where me and Josh are going to recap some of the fun stuff that we did at Central States. We're going to talk about kind of the state of the market as we see it and talk a little bit about whatnot and all the kind of fun stuff that we've been involved in. But first off, let me introduce our co-host, Josh Benevento. How are you doing, Josh?
Hey, Dean, I'm doing pretty good, man. I just got back from traveling a little bit this week. Went up to Madison, Wisconsin, where my wife was singing with the Madison Symphony. So she did a wonderful concert up there, and then she scooted off to Los Angeles for the next couple of weeks. So,
what was the show in Madison that she performed in?
Oh, it was the conclusion of their 100th season. And so there was a big concert of the Madison Symphony. They played beautiful orchestral work, a work for a piano concerto with a wonderful pianist, and then they did a big Bruckner piece where they had 4 soloists, and my wife was one of them.
All right. And then off to LA for I'm assuming something awesome.
Yeah, she's doing Die Valkyrie with the LA Philharmonic. So.
Oh wow. Now
yep.
I don't want to excite you too much, but I've seen some signs here in Springfield, Missouri for the Ozark Lyric Opera.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming around our area, highly attended, I'm sure, and very exciting traveling opera coming.
Oh yeah, opera in the Ozarks is actually a pretty good summer thing too.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, so they do a lot of performances out in the Ozarks, especially for the summer because it's such a popular vacation
for sure.
Place.
And Walmart is headquartered, maybe an hour and a half from here, and so I'm sure there's plenty of people that are interested in the arts there. But so I saw the signs and I immediately thought of you. The other thing that's going on in Springfield, Missouri, and I know this is what everybody cares about every day, is like what's going on in the middle of Missouri. But this is our 100th anniversary of Route 66, and so it's been a big event. The Today Show was here and was hosted in Springfield, and they had like a starting gate. John Goodman, a lot of the people that are relevant to Springfield, Missouri, he went to MSU, I believe, but are hanging around, kind of showing off the town, and lots of classic cars rolling around and looking good. But my dad absolutely would have loved to have been here for the 100th anniversary because it's so neat. And it, actually in my drive back from Chicago, I thought about all of the places that I've lived, and most of them have been along Route 66 in some form or fashion. Yeah, you can travel kind of my life story from Chicago to Springfield, Missouri. So
there you go.
Yeah.
That's the name of that'll be the name of your memoirs, Dean. On the road, on Route 66.
That's right.
That's pretty neat. I was actually right off of Route 66 recently. I was down in Southern Illinois doing a concert a couple weeks ago at Blackburn College, which is right off of Route 66 there. So went down into St. Louis. By the way, if you are in St. Louis or in the area, I highly recommend visiting the St. Louis Museum of Art. Mm-hmm. There is a wonderful exhibit right now on Emperor Trajan and sculptures around that time period, around Trajan, many of which come from the Archaeological Museum in Naples, Italy. So you get a chance to see all these wonderful works that you may never get a chance to see again, right there in St. Louis. And it's free.
Yeah, who doesn't love that? The St. Louis Art Museum is actually probably better than advertised because there are some great works inside of there that you might not expect. And certainly, I think didn't the St. Louis Coin Club offer a tour where club members could go and meet Jeremy Hagg and those guys to go through it. I saw the sign for it when I was back there when we were at the coin show, and I thought about coming back. I need to make a trip out, but it was worth your while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they really had a wonderful little room where they had a lot of coins in it as well. They had a beautiful coin exhibit. And to my surprise, most of the coins, right? Yeah, most of them were extremely polished, which is something you do experience a lot in museums. Like if you ever get a chance to visit the Boston Museum there, whew, man, they give a whole new definition to whizzed. But they're highly polished coins. Of course, they have a beautiful, beautiful selection too,
Yeah,
and I'm sure their permanent collection is quite large as well.
I'm sure. Right. Oh, so the kind of the big thing was you and I were going to try to do another live show at the Central States show in Chicago that we both attended a week and a half ago or 2 weeks
Hmm.
ago, and unfortunately we could not. Josh is probably one of the busiest guys on the floor. Between him and Leo Greenberry and some of the other guys, there's just
We're always
constantly,
running around.
and I couldn't get a hold of you guys in time to do that. But anyway, we got to spend a lot of time together.
Well, we did
Tell
also have some internet issues
That's
there
right.
at the
That's
show too.
right. Yeah, they don't give
So
away free Wi-Fi at the convention center, which is
no. Hey, everybody's got to make their money somehow. Everybody gets a cut.
right.
So,
In Chicago, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and
hey,
who you.
ain't that the truth? Oh, don't even get me started on gas prices. Whoo!
It's better than being in New York, though. I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than in New York City.
Truthfully, Chicago has
Probably.
has a higher gas. There's a gas tax in Chicago,
Oh,
and
okay. Well,
so Chicago specifically is a good 40-50 cents higher than everywhere else in Illinois. So
gotcha. Yeah. So, wait, the Central State show was really fantastic. Really enjoyed myself. A lot of ancients representation, and really some beautiful coins that were there. I got to spend some time with a number of the dealers. Josh, what were some of the things that you remember from the show that you thought is worth sharing, or some of the experiences you had?
yeah, honestly, like one of my favorite things was getting a chance to meet some collectors who I've had the privilege of getting to know through channels like Whatnot and Facebook. Some that have never been to a coin show before that did show up to Central States and absolutely loved it. They loved getting their hands on all these wonderful, wonderful coins. So that was kind of a real highlight for me. Other than that, I was there working with Shanna Schmidt Numismatics, who I'm now working with, and we sold coins and bought coins, and it was just a really great week. And aside from that, I had a lot of fun going out afterwards and getting together with a couple dealer friends and other friends. And another highlight of it was actually after the show, Leo Greenberry, our good friend from Handheld History, and I did a joint Whatnot show right here in my home. So it was a lot of fun. We got to haggle with each other, and and that was a good time. Other than that, being at the show, look, just like every other show, it's amazing to come together and meet old friends, make new ones, and really just look to see what the market has to offer at that specific time. And what does the market have to offer? The question is, not much, to be honest with you, because people keep buying it up.
Right.
Coin. I was talking to one coin dealer, Keith Candiotti, at the end of the show at the last day, and he said that his show here in Central States was just as good as it is at the New York International, which I thought was pretty awesome to hear that. Because last year at Central States, I remember I wasn't dealing last year at the show. I just had attended a couple days, and I remember walking around and chatting with some dealers, and they all said, "Yeah, it's just your average show. They sell some coins," and no one was really super excited. But I have to say, every single person I talked to, every dealer I talked to at this show, said that they had a really, really fantastic show, and it was one of their best yet. And that's kind of been the narrative that I'm hearing at every show lately. I mean, since late last year, it's like week after week, month after month, everybody's saying, "Oh, I had the greatest show ever. I have the greatest show ever." It just shows the hotness of the market right now, and in my eyes, things don't seem to be slowing down.
No, no. And
I think, yeah. Go ahead, Dean.
I think one of the things that I found was interesting was probably something that we have never encountered in our experience, but it seems to me there was a shortage of denarii, meaning that a lot of those have been moving and moving quickly. And so, like the dealers were having trouble keeping enough on hand to sell. And I
Yes.
think that that lends itself a lot to kind of the new avenues in which a lot of people are retailing these coins at, whatnot and things like that, where there's a higher frequency of movement and kind of they move quick, and so it takes a little while to replenish stock. And so that was one of the things that I certainly picked up while I was there, that there was a bit of a shortage of denarii and some other types, but it's still plenty of beautiful coins. I got to tell you, Josh, and I don't know if you got the time to do it, but I posted a couple of videos where I spent quite a bit of time with David Michaels. And
Hmm.
one day when we grow up and whatever, I will be able to kind of showcase, hopefully, one of their presentations in anywhere but a crowded show, so we don't have to talk over. I got to tell you, first of all, I think that was the first time I'd ever held a Port of Ostia coin. The Three
Oh,
Sisters were incredible. Um,
that port of Ostia Nero coin. Oh my! That's the one you're talking about, right? Mm.
yeah,
Mwah.
the thing, so I cover the 12 Caesars in silver, like that's nothing. We just kind of whatever with that. And
Eh,
the bronze were beautiful. There were
yeah.
one of the really tough types that they had there as a part of that collection was the Lugdunum Augustus Sestertius, which is
Hmm.
a very a hard to get type. You can get the smaller type uh, easier than the Sestertius, but it was just absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to think of what there was a Judea Capta that was like perfect.
That's all part of that PLZ collection, I believe.
Yes, that
Correct?
is
Yes.
correct. Yeah, yeah. And then I don't even want to go into the gold. I mean, the fact that they had a Augustus or Octavian with Julius Caesar on the reverse, so that you have both images on an aureus, that is not a common type. Most
Mm.
of the Julius Caesar related gold coins are from his lifetime, and they usually have what's it called, a god on the obverse to match his family lineage. So it was really interesting to see and incredibly beautiful. But like the Claudius was incredible. Just stuff that you
The
probably see once and then never see again.
the collection
And
of Hadrians were really great too.
oh yeah, the traveling series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good auction, and people should watch just to watch because those coins are very special, particularly the early part of the auction. I think it's like 61 coins they have,
Did
and
you get a
all of.
chance? Did you get a chance to take a look at the Eid Mar?
Are you talking about James Beach's Eid
I
Mar?
am talking about James Beach's Eid Mar. He had the coolest display, I thought. He had one display case, one coin in this whole display case, centered. You had the Eidmar. It was the one I think that hammered in Kunker earlier this year. So he had the Eidmar in the middle with two Loristan daggers kind of propped up next to it. It was a really cool display. And that's a piece that you really don't see at a coin show. It's like ever. I mean, you'll
No.
see. Maybe you'll see an electrotype or something like that along those lines. But to see an actual Eidmar at a coin show is something that really doesn't happen at every one of them.
He how did he tell you about it? I because he came and found me, and he's like, I got to show you something, and he was
Oh, he did.
so excited. He was so excited. I don't blame him. I mean, that's
Yeah.
to me, you've made it if you've had one of those, right? And I asked him because his dad was like a prolific coin dealer, and I asked him if his dad ever had one. He said no, and I thought that was pretty special to achieve that. And I think he had already worked out a deal with somebody, and that he's just holding it for the time being.
Yeah, it had already sold. So, but
Sitting on.
he got the display it and show it off, and That was a big kind of attraction. I heard people chatting about it. Like, not everybody gets to see one. Like, honestly, you can go to a museum and see one.
Uh-huh.
But besides that, most folks will just see as a picture of it. Or if
Right.
you go to like, one of the big auctions, like if you go to Zurich and go to like a big NAC auction, maybe there you might be able to handle one. But
How,
to get
is there 100 silver ones ish?
Yeah, something like that. There's a die study book. I can't recall how many are in there, but there's one coming up in Loy,
Yeah.
actually. Now that one coming up in Loy can't get shipped to the United States.
Ah,
So because of MOUs and I guess the lack of provenance behind it, I guess they can't ship it to the United States, that one. But the one that was sold by James was definitely provenance. So it
so,
fit the mark.
but if you're rich enough to own an Eid Mar, maybe you already have a place in Europe, and then you just buy it.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, just don't bring it to the United States, I guess. And if you do, how are you going to sell it? I mean, I mean that's the thing. Like, how are you, legally transferring and moving coins like that around? It's becoming
Tricky.
such a hassle. But thank goodness for people like Peter Tampa
Oh
and
yeah,
the Ancient Coin Guild who really lobby for collectors and kind of keep it safe for all of us. I mean, I tell people all the time they do more work for this hobby than people ever really realize. So
that's why any chance I get, I try to advertise them or try to put their name out in the public space because they're on the front lines protecting us collectors, and it can get tricky. I mean, a lot of the trade stuff, a lot of the kind of inter-country relations has changed dramatically in the recent past, and so some of this is out of our control, some of it's in our control. But it's best to have a team behind you, especially the guys that work with that, a brilliant group. And I would say that, yeah, I mean, if you get a chance and you're kind of established in the coin community, you should definitely check out their website and try to find a way in which you can participate or donate or whatever you can do. Because, like I said, they're really on the front lines trying to protect our interest as collectors and just lovers of history generally, and it's very important to be a part of that. The well, I'm trying to think of what else. What would I? So I spent a lot of time with Ben Walker, who
oh
had
yeah, it was so nice to see him there. After
yeah,
I met him at the St. Louis show
that's right.
earlier this year, and it was great to see him at Central States.
Yeah,
So
and he's a guy that always has interesting groups of coins. He has a lot of bronze. I think he had at least a box of like Arab Byzantine coins, which I really think are not well collected at this point or understood. Uh,
yeah,
but
that
but that's
reminds
an
me.
avenue in which you could pick up an interest in something like that and kind of take off in the hobby.
There's a
Because I
great
think
book about that, and I can't. I was just trying to look at my bookshelf if I can grab it real quick without
sure,
actually
go
having to
ahead.
scour around. But it's all on Arab. It's all about Arab Byzantine coins. Only published pretty recently. I think 2012-ish,
Right,
something like
right.
that. In the last 10, 15 years. And that's an area that's really fresh for discovery. So whenever you're seeing any of the Byzantine types with any Arabic lettering or anything like that on it, and if you can get them real cheap, pick them up because truthfully, you might be able to find some rarities that might be newly discovered in that field.
That's right. One of the kind of later versions are the are two quids of Martin, which he is. It's kind of special to me because they inhabited the area around Mosul, and I lived there for a year, and so a special place, but very unique in the Muslim world because they actually used images on their coin. And a lot of the images are throwbacks to established kind of identities on coins. So I bought one from Ben that has Hercules on the obverse. There's others with Nero or a version of Nero and a young Nero on there. I'm trying to think of
Isn't
some
there
of the other.
also a zodiac type as well?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The twin Geminis, right?
Hmm.
So they're really interesting type. You know, and the reverses are script, oftentimes, but the obverse always has or generally has a really interesting image that you wouldn't necessarily associate with like 12th century Middle Eastern coins, and I really think that's an undeveloped area that people maybe don't take a look at, but really beautiful and affordable coins that I highly recommend. Usually, you know, a good sized bronze that you know you don't have to squint to look at. But there's animals. There's all kinds of very interesting stuff in that field, and I highly recommend if you get the opportunity to do a little bit of scholarship on it. Like Josh said, there is kind of a, I guess, a question mark around, or not a question mark, but a lot left to be understood about those, and
Hmm.
it's always good to be early on that kind of stuff. So, you know, Ben is always has very interesting bronze coins, and I would say that he also has a number of those. That so if you see him at a show, check him out definitely. And I'm
Along the
trying.
lines of interesting types, besides those, one coin that I had picked up for myself at the show was a series of coins that I've gotten into recently. Are coins of southern Arabia, specifically like modern day Yemen. These were the like Sabaean kingdoms, and so there's a great book that was put out by Martin Huth, and it's called Coins of the Caravan Kingdoms.
Hmm.
CCK you'll see sometimes as the reference. And so those are all those southern Arabian coins, and they're the kinds like you have some with two heads on them. Some of them have a head and like a bull, this Bucranian series. And so that's
Hmm.
one of the ones that I had picked up at the show. I'm just seeing if I have one here real quick to show real quick. Yeah. So they're the southern. Let's see if this will focus here.
There.
So there's southern Arabian types, and so you see there's this one. This is the one I picked up at the show.
Oh
There's one.
yeah.
It's got the head facing right, but then on the reverse, it has a bull. If you could see the bull's head there in the middle, with the Arab, the what's called Southern Arabian text around it. So I highly recommend this kind of group of coinage. They have these really neat ones that it just I can show these another time, but I literally just happen to have a box in front of me that I know had them in there. But I picked one up at the show, and yeah, it's a fun series of coins that are not super expensive to buy. I mean, like, well, put it this way: there are types, the silver types that are the owls. Those can get expensive. They're owl types. They're the Athenian types that have like an Arabian letter on the cheek and very stylized owls and things like that. They can get a little bit more pricey, but a lot of the series is very affordable. And so this is the book, the coins of the Caravan Kingdoms, and so that's just a series that I've been into lately, and I really think that more people should know about them. I was gonna do a little presentation about them coming up. I'm working on because I'm speaking at the Chicago Coin Club this
Yeah.
fall, so I'm
Yeah.
considering doing a little talk on Southern Arabian coins, since that's kind of an area that I don't really hear a lot about all the time. So
No, no, and you know that all kind of harkens back to a point we've probably made on this podcast a number of times, which are, you know, the Sasanians. Uh, uh, those types of coins are very affordable still, right?
hmm
And you know, the Parthian coins, you know, that those are areas. You know, we think of, I guess we don't think of the you know the great generalship of you know the Parthian side, probably because we have Western influence in our whole life, or the Sasanian side. But you know, in a lot of cases, they whipped Rome's ass. You know, Marcus Crassus, Mark Antony. A lot of
Hmm.
guys tried, and a lot of guys got beat down
The
by the.
Parthians were like the biggest enemy of the Roman Empire.
That's right. That's right. And even as they were collapsing, they were still fighting to the very end. And it that area, is a really interesting area. The coins are kind of Greek esque, in a little bit of a touch. The reverses kind of have a Greek stylized reverse. I would say that again, that's an area that people should look at and try to adapt or adopt, because I feel like it's still one of the undiscovered areas.
I do have
That
to say that Parthian coins are starting to
Mhm.
gain a lot of
Good.
popularity. Yeah.
Well, they're
Um,
well struck, very beautiful.
yep.
I like the forward facing. I think it's Vologases the third or
Yes.
whatever, where it's not the side; it's just forward facing, and he's got like the I don't want to call it
The
the
layer ears. No.
but but I always love when they do the forward facing, because very rarely is that a thing. I
Hmm.
think Augustus had one in a provincial coin, and I'm always fascinated when they do that kind of thing, as a difference from the right and left facing. So very neat types, very interesting. And then of course they get bigger. They get bigger to the tetradrachms, or the I forget the bigger sizes that they have of those. But just a really interesting area to collect, and I definitely recommend that you guys get into it if you get the opportunity. I'm trying to think of anything else. So I did a video with our buddy Jeremy from Haluman. He
Oh
brought his
yeah.
his newest prototype of camera, and he's actually incorporated some pretty neat stuff that takes what I would call very expensive tools, and makes them very reasonable. One of the things that last year that I was pretty proud of is I came up with a process to come up with these rotational videos of the coins. But I think I've shared with you kind of the studio that I needed to get the kind of good quality that it had. And so you had to kind of rent that studio to get the that kind of look. Now everybody can do kind of their own thing, but this is a like a photography system where they have rotational at the bottom, and it holds the slab or it holds the coin. And you can adjust the lighting east and west, north and south, so you get either shadows to show the depth of the coin, on the from how high it's raised up. And you can really see, or you can just take normal pictures where you can see great detail into the metal itself, and very specific. But I had a great time with him doing that video. Very kind of the similar to what we would have done upstairs, except we didn't have to do it with a system. And again, that's something that it's very hard to take good photographs of coins. It just is, especially ancients. It seems like the difference between bronze and gold and silver is all different, and it's all very hard to do. So people that are
Bronzes
entrepreneurs,
are especially hard.
yeah, um, but if you're an entrepreneur and looking to start a website or go on eBay and all that kind of stuff, photography really is a make or break, right? If you have bad photography, nobody's going to buy it. It's just the way it is, and so it's an important piece. Even for collectors, we've known collectors that have done their own kind of photography and then kind of label it at the bottom as their own, because it's that serious and it's very hard to do, particularly if you're just using a phone. So anyway, that was a neat piece of technology. Anytime that there's new coin technology, I try to figure out and see what can be done with it. And so this was a good example of that. I'm trying to think of if there was anything else that stood out. There was CNG had a very interesting coin that I guess I had not seen in a while, or they had a Syro-Phoenician tetradrachm of Caligula, and
Oh
I,
yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
that's I don't think it's like impossible, but it's one of the few that I've ever seen, and I thought that was really neat. I think the Julio Claudian guys are a little bit harder, but obviously Caligula is always the hardest of those guys. Obviously, you see a lot of Neros and the Augustus and stuff like that, but this was a neat Caligula. Anytime you see him in like a full bust on a giant silver coin, it's a pretty neat thing to have. Was there anything else that stood out to you, or did we touch them all?
I mean, I think we pretty much touched everything from the show. Truthfully, I didn't have a ton of time to walk around and just explore myself. I mean, I did visit Vilmar. I was chatting with him, with a
Uh-huh.
Constantine who works there or owns it, and truthfully, like it looked like he sold a lot of his fixed price list that just came out. You know, he
Yeah.
puts these out. Do I have it here? Oh, I do. He puts these out every so often. They're these
So
fixed price lists from Vilmar,
I
and
I
they do such a nice job with these. Really beautiful job.
the coin on the front, the
Yeah.
Ilium Troas tetradrachm, which that might be the second nicest one I've ever seen because generally they come beat up. They're they're
Hmm.
they're harder to find. I think they were the a horde of them was found in water or something, so they all have kind of this beat up nature to them. But to find a beautiful one with Athena on the obverse is a really neat coin because of the lineage, the Trojan history,
Yeah,
and
it had
yeah,
it's such a
if you can
beautiful coin.
you could find $1,000 one that won't look near as nice as that, but very rarely will you see one that nice, and that's why it's on the cover of that magazine because that's a beautiful example. Very hard to
Hmm.
find that. Anytime you get anything with the lineage of Troy in it, it's pretty neat. Did you, as a dealer, as you were working on the inside, because I did not work on the inside this time, uh, everything go smoothly? There was not any
Oh yeah,
bad.
everything went very smooth. You know, there was one there was one arrest during the show.
Oh, really?
Nothing associated with ancient coins. It was actually, you know, cabbage coin.
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, so it was actually he kind of figured it out, and someone had brought him a coin that was stolen and offered it to him for a ridiculously cheap price. And so he inquired about it, asked some questions, and it figured out that it was a stolen coin. And it was funny. He distracted the guys by like saying that he was interested in buying it, and he was very slowly working it up and all like that as the police were being called. Um, and they came to the table and they did arrest
uh,
the person from that. But besides that, everything was really smooth. The first day, the dealer day, was really not dealer day. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The doors opened. 7 o'clock they closed. So you had a small gap to come in, set up. A lot of the times on dealer day, you have people setting up and people shopping, and it's kind of this, that, all over the place. There wasn't really none of that from my experience this time. It was just come in, set up. All right, we're all set up. All right, there's really no one walking around. Time to pack up and go home and get ready for the next day.
that
Yeah, so besides that, from the dealer end, there was really no hitches.
I gotcha. I did hear about the kind of the dealer day. Could you pay if you're a person that just wants to buy coin, you pay an extra fee
Hmm.
to get in early. But it's interesting because the dealers and the collectors all kind of get released at once, right, into the hall. So you're wheeling your stuff and dragging it up to the table and need a little bit of time to set up as people are shopping.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing, but you got to do something, right? I mean, people, if they're after something rare or hard to find, there's not much that's going to stand in their way
Hmm.
to get them. So I understand it, but yeah, a little bit, I guess, a little stressful at the beginning if you have a bunch of customers coming
For
in from
certain
early.
shows, I would definitely recommend people doing the early bird. Fun, that's a good show to do it in. The New York International, I've only worked that show now once, and I've been attending that show for years, and I always get the early bird for it. It's a little pricey, but I have always found it to be worth it. And in that show, the dealers actually do get to set up before the people come.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, okay, so let's change gears a little bit. I know that you've been I guess wheeling and dealing. I guess we would call it full time since you don't have any opera shows going on, and you've been kind of one of the pillars of whatnot in the ancient coin realm, and have had some really good success. I know that a number of people that we're all very familiar with have had great success on there. Ken Dorney and Palmyra and
Hmm.
Leo, and there's a bunch of others that have done really well on it. And I just wanted to get your take on how that is going, what you're seeing, because it's insight that the rest of us on the outside could use maybe to help us with it.
Yeah, as far as the Whatnot platform goes, it's it's still really hot, just as hot as it has been all year. There are a lot of new sellers on the platform. A lot of collectors, even within the platform, who maybe have been purchasing coins for 8, 10 months and stuff like that, maybe have too many coins now and want to partake with part with some of their collection. So it's turned into a community of people who basically a lot of the times essentially just trade coins back and forth with each other, which is kind of like a miniature thing what happens at coin shows as well, because
That's right.
a lot of dealers buy from other dealers, and a lot
That's
of
right.
your biggest transactions sometimes are to other dealers,
That's right.
because we're all collectors at heart, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have found that there's been a huge increase of sellers on the platform, and along with that, a big increase of buyers as well. There are some things to watch out for. There've been a couple. I think there's been a couple problems coming up lately with some fakes or some fake coins on some shows, some channels, maybe from people who are not as well seasoned, or maybe just don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Like sometimes people just don't know, and there are some sellers that have come up. I just don't want. I don't want. I'm not going to say any names or anything like that. There are some sellers that have come up who, it's pretty obvious that they may not be well versed in ancient coins, but maybe see the, I don't know, a financial benefit from it, if that really exists. If it does, let me know. Uh, I'm still trying to figure that one out, but
Yeah.
look, anybody can sell a coin. You don't have to know anything about a coin to sell a coin. You really
Right.
don't. And if
Right.
Whatnot has proven one thing, it's that. You
So
know,
walk us through a show a little bit on how how you do your offering and stuff like that. What are the things?
yes. So what I do for my shows is I look through my inventory before the show, and I pull out some things that I think people might be interested in seeing that day. I try to change it up where I don't have the same 24 or whatever coins showing on the screen for every show. And then I will always ask people to guide me along with requests. You want Greek, Roman? You want late, early? What do you want? What are you into? And then if someone says like, "Hey, do you have any late Roman?" Yeah, sure, I have some. I'll pull out and I'll show some of those coins. Or if someone says something, "Do you have like this certain Greek coin?" If I don't have it, maybe I'll have something similar to it. People ask for things all the time, like mythological creatures, anything with animals on it, anything with crowns on it. I mean, you name it, it's probably on an ancient coin somewhere.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that's usually what I just do, and then I just go with the
Fair.
flow. I mean, the one thing I think that more people could do, and a lot of people do, is comment in chats, and
Yeah.
because it's really a platform. It's a social platform. I mean, it is a selling platform, but it's just as much a social platform as it is a selling platform. So the more conversations that happen in streams, I find that whoever is the seller in that stream is even more successful.
Hmm. Hmm.
The more activity that's going on.
What do you tend to sell the most of when you do a show?
Oh my! Truthfully, it is a yes. The answer is yes. I mean, there is a buyer for every type of coin on Whatnot. I mean, I sell things, everything from ancient Greek to ancient Roman to ancient Chinese to hard times tokens from the United States to Civil War tokens, world coins, silver bullion. Literally, if it's on a coin, there's a collector for it, and it's a good marketplace for it right now. eBay Live is another good marketplace. They're very specific on their sellers and of the people who they choose to sell on there. They have certain parameters they're looking for, which works for them. TikTok is another place that does selling. eBay Regular does selling. All these channels, but the thing is about versus, I think all of them, maybe TikTok might be the closest to it, but Whatnot is really more of a social selling platform than anything, I think. And there's some beautiful communities that have formed from it. On Discord, there's a couple of Discord servers where people will get to know each other. I have made now new friends through Whatnot, and from all over the country, which is really beautiful. And actually, all over the world, really, even internationally. There are some international people on there, specifically from Canada. Of course, you always have to worry about the old tariff issue that we're all still fighting with on a daily basis. But honestly, I really can't say anything negative about the platform, just mostly positives. Of course, look, know what you're buying before you buy it, because I do see people overspend on coins. Yeah, be patient. Always ask questions. I would rather see someone not buy something and ask me questions about it, and then come to me later and say, "Hey, do you still have that piece?" "Yeah, I still have it. Is it still for sale?" "Yeah, it's still for sale." And and even along those lines, like any of these sellers on that platform, or really any platform, if there's something you see and you think about it, reach out to them outside the platform, and you're not supposed to, I guess, talk about selling within the platform, outside of the platform, but we're on YouTube right now, so it doesn't matter. Feel free to reach out to me, and look, Whatnot charges a fee. I can pretty much guarantee you every dealer on there will knock off the Whatnot fee that they're going to have to pay anyway. This way, you don't got to pay. You don't got to pay the fee.
That's right.
So if someone's asking, I don't know, $1,000 for something, you could probably get it to them for like around 900, 915 ish. You usually probably could, because that's what they're gonna pay a 9% fee. So
and
so that's always.
That's the rub, but to use the platform, it's worth something, right? I mean,
It
obviously,
is.
it's not something that you can. My experience with live sales was always started out with TikTok, and I always saw people on TikTok doing this, and this was a huge deal, particularly with like baseball cards and stuff, the breakers. Um, and I always was very interested in that, and I'm really happy that you guys are finding a lot of success in it, because I think it's a great way to bring new people in. Obviously, you have a contained collector base that's already looking for whatever their hobby is, and it's a good way for them to dip their toe in and not overspend and not make a commitment and make a mistake. Because a lot of I got to tell you, I mean, my kind of outlook or how I represent myself is to new collectors. And a lot of these new collectors will come to me after they bought something that was fake, and didn't know it was fake, and they'll be showing it off. Hey, I bought my first ancient coin, and it will be something that they bought incorrectly, or didn't know that maybe there was contemporary forgeries, or didn't know, XYZ. And so there's a giant risk out there, and so with having people like Josh and Leo and Ken and Aaron Burke and all of them doing that, is at least giving them the opportunity to work with somebody who knows the business, knows coins, and will hopefully not steer them in the wrong direction, because that continues to be probably one of the bigger drawbacks of ancient coins, is that people do get burnt, and it does not leave a great feeling in their or a great taste in their mouth.
I mean, people get burned with U.S. coins too. I
That's
mean,
true.
it's not
Yeah.
just ancient coins.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. I could show you some. I could show you some interesting fakes, U.S. fakes too. Um, from the old black cabinet, as they say.
What
So, yeah.
Let me ask you one more question. So you start to say that there's a lot of ancient coins and whatnot, or it's growing and stuff like that. If one of our listeners is still interested in doing something like that, do you think it's still a good time for them to try and you know launch themselves into the market? Yeah,
Is it
or
a good place? It is
or
a good place for someone who's starting out who wants to absolutely jump in, throw your hat in the mix. I think the better thing would be to hang out in the platform first and get to know some people, get to know how things work, get to know people's lingos because there's a lot of lingo that doesn't mean what you might think it means, but it means something to that community. You know,
gotcha. Yeah,
some
yeah.
like lustrous. One of my pet peeves. My pet peeve word, lustrous. Everything's lustrous. Everything lustrous. People don't know what lustrous is. But I understand what they're trying to say. It's
Yeah.
just using the not quite the exact terminology, but that's fine. Get to learn the lingo of the Or when people say, "Hey, this is a banger," like what does that mean? A banger? What the hell is that? But all right, ancient coin banger. Okay, this is the lingo people use. Okay, that's fine. We used to call it, yeah, that's a great coin.
Yeah, no, no.
Nope, that's not a
Yeah.
great coin anymore. It's a banger.
Well, it's good to hear that that there's still what's a good idea is we should come up with those Whitman cutout books for late Roman bronzes. We should do that. Uh,
I mean, honestly, Tom Wood kind of already has something like that going. He makes these sheets. They're like
yeah,
the Holy Land Byzantine bronze collecting sheet. And
yeah,
I mean, geniusly, he puts these together, and I think it's a wonderful thing, especially for someone who's brand new, doesn't know what any of this is,
right,
And
right,
it's kind of a guide, like type A follows type B, C,
right, right,
whatever. So I and that's along the same lines as the old Blue Whitman albums.
right. Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, I think I think that's a wonderful, wonderful way for a new collector to start. Because at least then you have a goal. You're starting with a goal in mind. And I think
Yeah,
with collecting, that's important to have a goal, a collecting goal, instead of
right.
just buying willy nilly.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's it. That kind of, I don't want to change subjects completely, but that kind of lends itself into some of the stuff that I've been working on here lately. So, two things. One, I still do podcasts, right? Yesterday I was on the Road to Now, which turns out, surprise, I didn't know this beforehand, but that podcast is Ken Burns' favorite podcast and he has been on a few times. So he nominated them for an award. That was a interesting one. I think that I am on the verge of being on Sports Cards Live, which is a baseball card one. Again, trying to bring people in, not necessarily to kind of saturate the market, but try to help people get into history, right? I talk about this all the time on the whenever I'm talking is that there is a deficit of understanding of history in this country, whether it's before 1776 or after. And I think that it behooves us who love history to try and share that with people. And if it comes in collecting form, to me that makes perfect sense, particularly because Americans have always been collectors, right? And so that to me is a good way to reach out to find some people that might find interest in the history and collecting ancient coins. One of the things that I've been very working very hard on, which is something that I would tell you guys who are interested in being entrepreneurs, interested in, I mean, even just general small business stuff. I've been learning a lot about the kind of the atmosphere of internet searches, uh, not just Google, not just the SEO search. For those of you guys who don't know, there is or never heard SEO before. That's search engine optimization. So Google will recognize you at the top of the list if they're looking for something. There's also now something called GEO, which is generative. And so as a lot of people transition away from Google using their smartphones uh, to search, they will turn to AI to ask questions. Where do I buy this? Who has this? All that kind of stuff. Well, your SEO is not going to be as relevant as your generative engine optimization. So there's a secondary level of kind of distribution of information that you have to do in order to prepare yourself for people using AI as a search function. And the reason I want to talk to you guys about that, or tell you just generally, because that's how you can compete in kind of, and it's not really about what used to be you pay Google, right? Used to pay Google a large amount of money to get your name at the top, and now it doesn't work that way, and so people have had to adapt. And so this is something, probably tangential to what we're talking about, but it's something that people who have websites, people who are interested in building websites, in order to be found, you have to start thinking about how people will search and what tools they will use. So I wanted to put that out there for everybody to understand that that's something that you should, at the very least, Google or use AI to ask the question about, and whether it pertains to you and your website. But I would say that that's something that I've been working very hard on. A lot around the introductory stuff, a lot around why these coins are good, what are the types that I think are fun to collect under $100, all that kind of stuff, to try to get people to understand and interested in things. One of the things I wrote about was Gallienus's zoo series, which I got inspiration from you because you bought a couple of beautiful Gallienus's. Well, that's an easily collectible set where most of it is very affordable. And most people like collecting multiple things, right? They like to have a set. And so that's another way of doing it. And then on my website, I've put checklists. So I've created some checklists for people that they can print out or keep on my website and check off boxes. But for like Justinian, you can collect the years that he reigned, the five good emperors, all that kind of stuff, to put together a checklist. So it's fun for people to try and collect, try to bring that interest into that. So in large part, really just I've been focusing very heavily on how to get through to people beyond, an Instagram post or something like that, to try to get interest from collectors. And so it's been a lot of interesting work, and I know a lot of terminology that I didn't know a few months ago. Uh, but I've been having a lot of fun doing it and learning quite a bit about small business and how they will, like e-commerce, how that survives from day to day. And that's been kind of my primary focus. I mean, obviously, I went to the show and I spent time with you guys, and I had a blast.
We had a good
It's
time, Dean.
yeah, we did, uh, but there's obviously we all of us kind of are, once we get together, we all kind of go our into our different areas and stuff. But there are some things that you can do in your spare time that can really help your business. And those are the kind of things that I'm working on. And I imagine I will put together a kind of a video of some of the learnings. I know that I talked to a few people that were very interested in that at the show. Um, so yeah, that's really kind of where I've been, or what I've been working on. I have a couple projects that are coming up here that I think are going to be pretty neat, pretty exciting stuff, but not close enough to calling it being done. So, and in terms of like collecting and stuff like that, I really need to start to put together a set of something. I've really been ignoring the buying side, the satisfactory part of the collecting, and I really have to get back into to put together a set for myself of something. I think originally my design was, every Augustus obverse that you could get, and then I learned that was a mistake. But I
That's
gotta,
quite a mighty task.
I think it's as hard as every emperor. I think there's like 500 verses,
I
but
recently just finished doing five good emperors in silver.
oh yeah, and I saw those. Those
So
were
yeah,
outstanding. Outstanding.
Took
Didn't
me no, that was 14 months of collecting just to find those.
those were beautiful?
So
And didn't Leo just finish up his Musa set?
he's always updating his muses. Well, I think his ultimate collecting is to have muses that are all provenance prior to 1970,
Yeah, I
and I think
gotcha.
he's just about there. I
I
think
believe it.
so, but yeah, he's. I mean, look, that's a beautiful. Look, that's a series of 9 coins. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you could spend years collecting just that series.
that's right.
There's
That's right.
one coin in that series, a very rare one, rare type that I know he wants, but the next time it comes up on auction, it's gonna be like 30, 40,000 bucks. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like the
yeah.
cream of the crop for that series. But look, if that's the only series that you're get into and you're doing, like why not? So you buy a $30,000 coin. I mean, what's the end of the world? If I mean, look,
Hey,
yeah, you can always sell it. I mean,
you got. I mean, you gotta. I mean, you gotta. If you're collecting Lincoln pennies, you still got to get the 1909
you got to get an
SPDB.
oh 09 SVDB, and if you're going to buy one, buy a good one.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's always a hard part of a collection, but
There is.
that's why it's
Honestly,
fun.
that's where I would start personally. Like if I
You should.
like I put together I've put together a whole set book before. I would start with the 1909 SVDB and the 1922 no date. That's where I would start. Those are the two most expensive coins. But once you
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
those, the other ones are very much attainable.
Right, right. Very easily obtainable.
So
So now that we've done a little catching up, what do we got
let's
going
see what we
forward? What,
have. Well, we have so in July, I will be at the not Lancaster, Lansing, Michigan. Lansing, Michigan is doing their first coin show there with Mid America Coins, is
okay.
hosting it, I believe. It's a brand new show, so I will be doing that one with Shanna Schmidt, Numismatics. Then following that in August, with Shanna, I will be doing the A&A in Pittsburgh, which will be a great show. I think you're planning on coming to that one too.
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
kind of like the world. That's the World's Fair of Money. That's the show to where everyone comes all over the country. You get to see all your friends. So that's in August, and then I think in September I might be at the Long Beach show in California. That's in
Oh.
Los Angeles. And then in November, looking at doing the Baltimore show, I believe I might be at
Okay.
walking. And then December, no shows, and then we're back to January at fun for Winter
And then
Fun in the
this
New York
year
International.
they're back to back again, right?
They are back to back again. Second week of January is fun. Third week, I believe, or first and second, I don't know. Whatever it is, they're back to back.
And as you mentioned, I probably, at the very least, will plan on attending the ANA. I'm hopeful that I've been chatting back and forth with them. I did some videos for them last year, and I'm hoping that I can have some some work collaboration work with them because they seem to have a lot of fun with what they do. And then beyond that, I'm not sure that I have anything scheduled. Nothing fancy like you do. There is the Springfield, Missouri show. I don't know if you'll be attending.
Oh,
That
when
is
is that?
October.
October. Well, I don't think I have a coin show scheduled for October yet. And so, how big of a show is this one, Dean? And
Oh,
are you going to
the
do a
spring.
table?
I have in the past. It's about 30 dealers or something. Chip Vaughn is always there.
Oh, Chip
Um,
comes. He's a great guy. I
yeah,
love Chip.
yeah, he's got great stuff. I bought a Perdiccas the second from him the last time I saw a little drum or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Yeah,
he's always got
I spent a good hour or two with him at the last show. We were
yeah,
trading coins. I gave him
that's
my
right.
boxes, and he handed me his boxes, and we both went, "Well, I'll take that one, that one, that one," and then at the end we're like, "Okay, so you want all these, and I want all these. Let's just trade this one for this one."
Yeah. Yeah, and
So,
again, if you guys are if you're local to the St. Louis area or within driving distance or whatever, that's a great coin group. That's another member, Chip Vaughn. But yeah, great coin group. You learn a lot there. So shows coming up, and anything else exciting, or are we going to close the chapter
I
on
think
episode?
that's closing the chapter for this episode because we're a little bit over an hour now, and
Yeah.
hopefully we didn't bore the hell out of everyone.
I did see Aaron Burke's on number 77. I think he just released.
Wow.
We have been slacking. Holy cow!
Yeah. Yeah. But we always have something good to say, so.
That's right. That's right. And we always appreciate everybody watching and taking a little bit of time out of their day to listen to us talk about coins. But we hope that kind of our perspective of the marketplace helps you get an understanding for what's going on, what's hot. So we'll continue to bring that to you. And Josh, you got anything special to give to the crowd on the way out?
Well, besides visit a coin show, which is usually what I say, and besides join your local coin club, which is another thing, besides buy the book before the coin, how about this one? Explore some coins that are non-Greek, non-Roman. Explore some of the more Eastern coinage because I think there's a lot to discover and a lot of fun history to learn about.
That's right.
And
That's
of
right.
characters that you may never have heard of.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally concur and agree. Take a little bit of time to learn about Arab, Byzantine, Sasanian, Parthian, the what is it, Arabia Felix type.
Bactrian, Arabia Felix, yeah.
Yeah, get a book out and try to see if there's something that, outside of Greek and Roman that might interest you, because I think that's still all of that's still developing, and I think you'd probably still be an early adopter on that type of stuff. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Like, subscribe, and continue to follow, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.
Ciao.